So welcome to weekend bonus session of Accelerator online business program, how to accelerate your business, profit and income in completely uncertain economic times. So in this session, we're going to talk about how to double your productivity in the next 30 days, double or quadruple or do more than that in the next 30 days without, being stressful, without being, over burned out, or without having any negative consequence, or without spending 80 hours per week. So in the next few sessions, we are going to cover how to double your productivity, quadruple your productivity in the next 30 days or less. And in that, you would learn how to get these things done in less than 50 hours a week, or even lesser than that, by taking weekends off, by taking consistent vacations, by taking renewal time, by spending enough time with the family, by spending enough time with yourself, being fully relaxed and fully productive, and avoiding distractions and interruptions, and taking your business to the next level. That's what we are talking about today. Yeah. So who's excited about doing that? Put something in the comments so I know that you are excited. It's not just me. Awesome. So with that, I am adding a simple thing into our conversation. Thank you. There's a concept called prime question, and we're going to get deep into what prime question is in the future. But for now, prime questions are the questions that we ask in a specific context. For example, every context that we are going into, what we do is we ask ourselves a question. You go to an event, you do something, you get into a relationship. Unconsciously, we ask a question. What do I need from this? So there is a question that you're unconsciously asking. And the outcome that you receive from any given experience is based on the question that you ask. And again, I'll go deep into this in the future. And some of you work closely with me, you understand I'm a big fan of this concept. This is a big deal for me. This is a process that helps us get out of the conditioning of the mind, because the difference between an Einstein and a regular normal person like me is that Einstein was able to ask unique questions. He asked so much weird questions. If you guys are familiar with Einstein's work, he asked, if one train is going at the speed of light and another train is going in the speed of light, and can the person from the first train can see the other person in the other train? It's super weird question, but it's a question. Pay attention to that. It's a question. So if you look at Newton, and I'm not going to go further than this. I'll stay with Newton and come out of this this hyperloop or of extra different ideas. But like, there are so many people in the history of time who had something fall on their head. Like, I come from a place in India where there are a lot of coconut plants or coconut trees, right? So there are so many people who even died because coconut fell on them. But in Newton's case, he was lucky. It was not a coconut. It was a apple that fell on his head. And so he was alive to ask some question, which is pretty good. And then he asked a question, why did this apple fall down, not up? That's a weird question at the time. Now you think about it, it's like, oh, if Newton did not find out that, I could have probably found out this, right? That's what we feel right now. But in reality, he asked a question. Why is this apple coming down, not up? Just like that, for this session and every session from now on, you're going to ask a question. This is a question for today that I am giving you, and you could modify it and rewrite this question to any way you want. Here's a question. How am I going to double my productivity in 30 days and enjoy the process? Who's excited about that? Are you excited about that? So if that's the case, write this question down, literally exactly like this, or modify this question to meet your personality. Do it right now. So here is the reality. We are 50% less productive than our grandparents. So imagine your grandparent, whoever that person was. We are 50% less productive or more, 50% or more less productive than our grandparents. Can you imagine that? Because we have the tools, we have the iPhone, they didn't have the Android phone, they didn't have the iPad, they didn't have the computer, they didn't have any of the technology that we have. and they got their stuff done, right? So, but we are not getting as much done. So is more work the answer? Like most people will be like, okay, we should work hard. I'm not spending enough time in my business. I'm spending only 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours. And I watched this video from Elon Musk, who's a multi-billionaire. He said, when other people are spending 40 hours in your business, you need to spend 80 to 100 hours in your business so that you could get 2 times, 3 times things done in your business. What an absolutely misrepresented idea for most people. It might be working for Elon, and he may become a billionaire, but the reality is it doesn't work for 99.99% of the people. I shouldn't say 99.99, for most of the people. More work is not the answer. And there are numerous studies right now that talks about the time that you spend on your business, and then the more time that you spend. For example, any time that you spend working 50 hours, by investing 50 hours, you're getting a maximum of 37 hours of productivity. Pay attention to this. Even if you're working back to back 50 hours, you're getting 37 hours of productivity. As you go higher than 50 hours, most people's productivity goes down. And why did I say most people? There could be exceptions for this. There could be one random Elon Musk or somebody who was able to get more things done. Except for that, most people's productivity goes down. Let me give you a specific number. If you spend 55 hours in your business, your productivity goes down by 30. It's the most counterinstinctive thing that I ever heard in terms of this topic. Everybody is talking about, oh, you need to work harder. You need to spend more time. You need to do this. You need to do that. It doesn't work that way. Understand this. You don't need to be spending more than 50 hours. And your life is not to sacrifice in front of this work goddess, right? Or business goddess, right? The idea is for you to have fun, you to make money, you to create an impact. And then we would go through that step by step as to how to get this done in less than 50 hours. And if you're spending less than 50 hours already, if you're spending 10 hours this week, then yeah, probably you could add a few more hours into your work life. Okay, let's get into a few soul models on this topic. So soul model 10, you cannot manage time. You can only manage emotions. People talk about time management, right? Oh, how do you manage time? I mean, imagine this is something that we cannot manage. It goes by the speed in which it wants, and we just show up. The only thing that we could manage is our emotion. So I'll explain this with an example, right? So imagine the most charismatic person that you know in your life. Could you write down the most charismatic person in your life in the chat, or if you're listening to the video, in a piece of paper? And don't write this down in chat, but a total boring person in your life, the most boring person in life. This person like bores you to death, right? So imagine that, the most charismatic person and the most boring person. Yeah, you got it? Okay, so imagine that you're spending 30 minutes with this most charismatic person in the world, like the person that you admire. Maybe you don't even know him, but you know about him or her. And you're spending 30 minutes with this person. What does that feel like? It feels like time is going by really fast. You feel like time is disappearing. Like it feels like it's only 10 minutes. Now go to the boring person like in your life, like if there is a boring person in your life or person that you know who's boring. Imagine you're talking to this person. And now, what does time feel like? It is dragging and dragging and dragging, and time is going, and every second you're looking at your watch every like 3 seconds, and you're changing into a different direction. You're trying to say something, that person just never stop talking. Yeah. What's the difference here? It's the same 30 minutes. It's a difference in emotion that you're feeling. So this is what we are going to unpack today. When you are in love with what you do, and when you have skill in what you do, when you can create a big impact using what you do, and when you're able to make a lot of money with what you do, then it's like spending time with that charismatic person. Time goes by. That's how we do it. We manage our emotions so that we get more productive. If there's one thing that you need to understand today, other than the 17 other things that you need to understand, one of the most important things that we need to understand today is this metaphor. You only manage emotions. You don't manage time. The more efficient you are in managing emotions, more efficient and more result-oriented you would be. Moving on. Soul model number 11, work only on things that you're passionate about and what you're remarkable at. Delegate everything else. Now, you're listening to this and now you're thinking, you know what? I don't have a lot of money. I'm just starting out. I cannot delegate. Understood. So in that case, you need to be doing the things that you are super passionate about. At least you are extra passionate about it because you are beginning, you're starting out. Because of that, you're extra passionate at it. Barring that exception, everyone else, figure out a way to delegate. Like, if you feel like you can delegate to somebody else, if somebody else can do this, just give it to them. And there are people from all over the world who are looking for work. You could get people for $2, $3 per hour to do things that you are not remarkable at, you are not passionate about. So find somebody from Philippines, from India, from Ethiopia, somebody who can speak your language and do stuff for you, and delegate everything else other than the things that you are passionate about. So model number 12, your mind is the worst productivity tool in the world. This is really important. If you're managing your people ask me, what is the best tool for productivity? There are so many tools you could use, but one tool that you shouldn't be using is your mind. So there was a comment saying, okay, you need to be ethical about delegating. So the person who is from Ethiopia, getting $3 is the best thing that person could probably be getting, right? So that is like higher than that. So yes, we need to be ethical about delegation, but we will talk about the ethical side of it in a future session. The reality, yes, of course, we need to be responsible. We don't need to take advantage of people. We need to give them opportunities that are bigger than what is available to them right now. And that is perfectly fine. Okay, so your mind is the worst productivity tool in the world, the worst one, right? So we need to step out of that mind. And I'm going to explain that in a different way. So if you don't plan, your shadows are planning your day. So it's part of that. Think about it. Your shadows are like, oh, today's a time to be depressed. Today's time to be anxious. So your shadows are like, okay, you don't plan. Okay, I'll plan it for you. It's going to take over your emotions and plan your day and tell you, hey, today we could just watch Netflix or Hulu or like watch some YouTube and just spend some day and then that's it. Right. So I want to add one concept here, which is subjective versus objective, in terms of mind being the worst productive tool in the world. So imagine there is something that you're really tensed about, like something that you're really stressed and anxious about, and that's in your head right now probably. And imagine that problem. Now think about an earthquake in Japan. Japan has like major earthquakes happening because of their physical location. And there are some earthquakes where 100,000 people died, like, very, very large number of people died. And now imagine it is 100,000 people are dying. Now, on the other side, there is something that you're nervous about. Which one is more important for you? You could always argue that, oh, I'm an empath, 100,000 people dying is a big deal for me. But reality, people often do not get depression or anxious or stressed about, oh my gosh, Japan had an earthquake and then 100,000 people died from that. Oh my gosh, that is giving me depression. Oftentimes, a small cut on our nail, a small cut on our finger is more impactful for most of us than a major event outside. What does that mean? What it means is whatever that is in our head are the things that are stressing us. So what does that mean? It means that everything needs to come out of your head. If you're planning something in your head, then you're already stressed, no matter how good it is. So nowadays, we have like hundreds of things to do in terms of life, in terms of business, taking care of kids, taking care of other people, myself. And because of that, because we have so many things in our head, that itself is stressing it out. So we need to get it objective. We need to get it out of our head. That's what we're going to do today and for the rest of our lives. We don't want it to be subjective in our head. So a thing that is in our head will stress us more than a Japanese earthquake for most people. I know for some people it might not be true, but for most people. Makes sense? Now, next point. There are only two types of actions that you must be working on. Just two types of actions. This is a freedom for you if you're listening to it in a very attentive way, because this gives you freedom. Two types of things. One, highest income activities. Highest income activities. And we are going to unpack this in a second. Highest income activities. I call them intelligent actions. Okay. Now, the second one is highest impact activities. I call them inspired actions. So highest income activities, highest impact activities. These are the only things that we need to be working on 90% of the time. Intelligent actions, inspired actions. Okay, so Soul Model 13, your results are directly proportional. Now I have put two things. I'm gonna keep this like exactly like this without anything. Your results are directly proportional to the extent of rejuvenation you have. Okay, so you got it. Okay, here is what at stake, guys. So what is at stake is your business, the opportunity. Imagine the half of the painting that you did for the first half of your life. Now the second half of your life needs to be painted. And if we don't learn how to manage our emotions and thus having high level productivity and double your productivity, what is at stake is our business. What is at stake is our legacy. What is at stake is the significance of what we are going to create in this world. The impact is lost. Okay? The opportunity is you could create a big impact in the world. You could make a lot of money, celebrate, have fun, and impact people, help other people, and support family, and create an experience and a lifestyle. That is opportunity here. So let me talk about my unproductive day. So here's my unproductive day. I imagine I wake up in the morning and I don't do power ceremony, and then I wake up like stressed and anxious and weird, and I'm thinking about all the horrible things in the life and what happened. I had days like this, just to let you know. I'm not making this up. So and then wake up and like, okay, today I need a lot of relaxation. I don't know. I feel like relaxing. So I was like, okay, let me watch like something, a TV show or something for like 15 minutes. So I started watching 15 minutes, and 3 hours later, it's like 11:45. Oh, it's time for lunch. I need to eat healthy lunch, right? So I go start eating the healthy lunch. And then I thought, you know what, I could have a little bit of sugar. That's fine. But I skipped the breakfast anyway, so I could have a little bit of sugar. So I have a little bit of sugar. Then I think, okay, I don't take sugar often, so I could have a little bit more. And then I maybe take some more stuff, and then go from the fridge. I come back to the couch and then watch something, and then it's like 4 o'clock. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. What am I going to do right now? The day is over. Like, let's do something fun for today so I could relax. And then at night, I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything. Oh, that's okay. I'm relaxing, or I'm feeling guilty. Oh, I didn't do anything. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to be very productive. I mean, any of you, is it just me, or do you have a day like this where you are not feeling like getting things done. You feel like, you need to relax and renew and or whatever, Do you have days like this? If you have days like this, put that in the chat. Not as extreme as this, but if you have days similar to that, put that in the chat. So then I started implementing these things, and my new day is like, I went the opposite. I do the things that are really, really impactful and really, really, focused on, creating a lot of income, really passionate things, and really things that I'm skilled. I have this problem. I'm not making this up, okay? I have this problem where I am not doing the regular stuff that I need to be doing. Like, is this a problem that you want to have? Like regular stuff, like I don't like checking my mails, like, so I don't check my mails every day or every week rather. So I have problems with, like, I don't check my mails. I don't check my emails as much as I need to be. I don't check my messenger, Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp messages and other stuff. If you guys have my phone number and things like that, you don't get an answer from me fast enough, oftentimes. And that is a good problem to have, right? Now, you have been spending enough time on your stuff. And of course, every month I lose some money because I didn't check my mail and respond to something faster. But I'm okay with that, losing money. Like, but if it's a customer, I do my best to respond to. But other than that, there are so many people sending me emails and, mails and stuff like that. There are certain things, there are people who open this for me and still don't check it. Still, I don't check it. So I'm not inviting you to do that, but my point is, this is a problem that you want to have. And, I'm going to solve this, figuring out somebody else can do this for me. But my point is, that's a new problem. Every time you will have a new problem, if you would rather have this problem than this problem of an unproductive day. Okay. So here's another thing that I want to share with you. Various studies show that an average, if you get less than 7 hours of sleep, you're significantly less productive just because of that. So look into that. What is the story that we are saying that stop us from sleeping at least 7 hours right now? So at this point, I'm going to share something weird with you, okay? So here's a weird thing. I slept only 4 hours last night because there are so many things that are going on. And I needed to improve because I could just take the standard PowerPoint for this seminar and then I could give it to you. But every time I feel like I need to improve something. So I worked with my team and I was like spending time till like 2 a.m. like refining some of the stuff at least like 1:30, and then I sent it to my team. And this morning, my team sent it back to me, and then I reviewed it, improved it, and then go from there. So I don't sleep 7 hours every day, but you know what I do? I catch up. So what I do is, like, tomorrow I wake up whenever I wake up. So if I had a day where I needed to get something done, yeah, I get things done. So I'm not saying these are like, stone written rules, but in general, on an average, I sleep more than 7 hours, sometimes 8 hours average. So just to give you an idea. So if you are sleeping less than 7 hours, you are less productive, right? So think about that. And this is another point that I want to share with you. Every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to someone close to you, including yourself. So it could be, so every time you're saying yes to a business thing, keep in mind, you're saying no to somebody. And oftentimes we have, as a human species, we have a hard time saying no to people. But the reality is, every time you're saying no to somebody or something, you're saying no to something else. Does that make sense? Put that in the chat if that makes sense. You're saying no to, I don't have time to spend with you, the family, the child, the friend, and you are not spending enough time with you. So every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to someone close to, including yourself, especially if you're spending a lot of time, right? So when you're saying yes, make sure that there is a no that I need to be saying. Like if you're like, if somebody asks me, hey, can you meet with me at 5:30 in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning? That's the time, generally speaking, I do my power ceremony. So I am not working on myself. Instead, I am listening to that person if I say yes to that. So every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. Now let's get into the real stuff. Everybody was asking me, and you were asking me, hey, how do I work on the 1000x stuff? By taking intelligent actions. So look at this. In the bottom, there is like no income activities. No income activities. There are things that you could be doing that produces no income whatsoever. And if you're, you might be thinking, oh, I need to be working on things that are not income activities too. We'll cover that in a second. But for right now, just focus on the income. So there are no income activities. There is low income activities. There are high income activities, and there are highest income activities in your business. And you don't need to be doing 1000x things unless you are very ambitious and you want to grow your business to like a gigantic conglomerate or something like that. In that case, you can stick with 25 or 10 and you still be okay. 25 or 100 and you'll still be okay. I would recommend that you go with the 100 if you could, and that's what we are going to focus on right now, 100x, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you how that works. But the focus is high income activities or highest income activities, somewhere in that range, ideally. Okay, so that's what intelligent actions are. So here's the thing from saying no to good ideas. It's the same theme that we were talking about, saying no to good ideas. Allow that to be processed for a second. Saying no to good ideas or excellent ideas. And I'm going to frame it with the guy who talked about it. I'm actually as proud of the things that we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1000 things. One more time. I'm actually as proud of the things that we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1000 things. You with me? Do you understand the importance of this? Because when you are able to say to 9 things, say no to 9 things, then the other one thing, that's what is going to make the biggest difference. So it is not just saying yes to everything, it's saying no to good ideas. Next point, and if you are thinking about, oh, there are things that doesn't have money in it. So those are inspired actions. We talked about that, right? So creating an impact. So there are no impact activities, there are low impact activities, there are high impact activities, and lifetime impact activities. If you want to, if your goal is to transform the world, yeah, go for the lifetime impact, go for the kill, go for the life, right? So now, but if you want to have a high impact in life, go for the high impact activities. But it gets better. What if we could do the impact and income at the same time? So there could be, look at the very top, you would see no impact activities. The very bottom, you'll see no income activities. You shouldn't be working on those. I shouldn't be working on that, right? Now, there are low impact activities in yellow and then low income activities in yellow in the bottom, yeah? And now you have high impact activities and high income activities. Those are really good. Those are 100x activities. Remember we talked about 80-20. From that 80-20, you go to 60-4, and the next level you're going, for simplicity, 150, which means out of the hundreds of things that you could be doing, there is one thing that you could do that could give you 50 times return on investment. Actually, 100 times return on investment, because it's half, because of the percentage, how it's structured. It gets even better. How about passion? There are no passion activities in life, low passion activities in life, high passion activities in life, and highest passion activities in life. On the other side, there is no proficiency activity, low proficiency, highest. So we talked about profit, we talked about our income, we talked about the impact. about the passion and the proficiency. Now let's look at the whole picture. Allow it to be processed for a second. Now it's all coming together, isn't it? There is this no passion activities, no impact activities, no proficiency activities, no income activities. Where was the last 7 days of your life? Were you working on no passion, no impact, no proficiency, no income? Or were you working on low passion, low impact, low proficiency, low income? Or high income, high passion, high impact, high proficiency? Or even better, highest passion, impact, proficiency, and income. So at this time, write down in a piece of paper, on a software, or a document, whatever you use. Let's spend 5 minutes to write down, look at your last week and see where were you? Where were you in the last 7 days? What were you working on in the last 7 days? In terms of passion, just write down no passion 80% of the time, no income 60% of the time. And it doesn't need to be accurate. No impact, 50% of the time, no proficiency 80% of the time, if that's the case. Or the other side would be, hey, I worked 80% of the time on high passion activities, but they didn't make an impact. There's no impact there, so it was a no impact week. There's no proficiency. These are the things that I'm not proficient at. I'm getting proficient at, but I made a lot of money. Okay, got it. So then we could review that. So let's spend 5 minutes right now. And if you're watching this video, pause the video right now, look at this and evaluate your last 7 days. Where were you spending time on? Now, here's one thing that I want to tell you. If you cannot, do you think you cannot take 1 day off a week? If that's the case, put that in the chat or just write it down. I cannot take 1 day off. If that's the case, you must take 1 day off in your life. If you cannot take 1 day off, then you are the ideal candidate for taking 1 day off. Because around 7 years ago, I had like really incredibly tight schedule and I decided I'm not going to work on Sundays anymore. Typically, I don't work on Saturdays either, except for like when I do some trainings. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to work on Sunday. The next week, my productivity was 25% more. So what does that mean? By working on 6 days, I was getting more things done than working on 7 days. What a counter-instinctive thing to do, but that works all the time. Around 7 years ago, I decided to take Sundays off. Immediately, next day, my productivity increased by 25%. Right? So that is an important thing to increase your productivity, just like that. Okay, another thing is, if you don't have time to exercise, you must exercise. That will increase your productivity because when you have physical energy, then you will have energy to give to other people, energy to support yourself, energy to help your family or inspire people. Right? So if you don't have time to exercise, which I don't have, but I must exercise. For example, like I said, I'm being brutally honest about me not sleeping. While I'm teaching, hey, you should sleep 7 hours. I slept only 4 hours. But in the morning, I made sure before I showed up for this, I made sure I did my workout. No excuses, no stories. I figure out a way to make that happen, right? You need to figure out a way to make it happen. If you're really busy, you must make it happen. Now, when you continue doing those 4 things, if you like, the red zone is like no income, no passion, no proficiency, nothing. The other one is low everything. The green is high everything. You could actually get to a point where you're working only on the highest things that you are passionate about. Now let's finish with the ideas and let's start implementing right now. So now let's do this implementation. Write down 25 things that you want to do in your business that you're holding in your head. So take a piece of paper or use the to-do list tool or whatever tool that you use other than your brain. So a piece of paper, a software, or something. In that, write down 25 things that you want to do in your business that you're holding in your head. Time starts now. Right now, we would go to the next step, all of us, which is in next 5 minutes. Relaxed, okay. Relaxed, nice, feeling good. That's good. Now, in the next 7 minutes, let's go ahead and write 25 things that you're holding in your head about your personal life. The things that you want to be doing in your personal life. So start writing right now. Now, this is a 5x model, which means from this 25 things that you wrote down. So I'm going to say 25. There are 5 things that you could be doing that would create the biggest impact in your business. Okay, so 20% of the results, 80% of the results come from 20% of actions. 20% of the results come from 80% of the actions too. So if that's the case, go back to your business and go through that list. Now, let that list be separate. Okay, in a new piece of paper, write down the 5 things that will create the biggest impact in your business. So from the 25 that you wrote down, what are the 5 things that would give you the biggest impact in your business? When I'm talking about impact, it means, or let me use the word leverage, that has the highest leverage in your business. So what does that mean? What are the things that could, what are the 5 things that has the highest income, highest impact, and the highest passion and highest proficiency? That's the highest leverage. So what are the things? It does not have to be, 1000x or 100x or anything like that. But from the list of things that you wrote down, what are the 5 things for business? What are the 5 things that gives you the highest return on investment? What are the highest leverage activities from that? Now, so we did that. We wrote in another piece of paper and we are not throwing it away. Now we are going to go to the next level, which is from these 5 things that you have written right now, look at this, like 20% of that 20%, which is 4% of the things. So you have a list of 25 things, 20% of it is 5 things. And of that 5 things, there are 4 things, or of that 5 things, there is one thing. There is one thing in your business. Now it comes to one thing in your business that could give you 64% of the return from that one action. And you have probably written that action. So what is that one thing in your business right now that could give you 64% of your action? So from the list of 5, find the one thing, find the one big thing that could create the biggest impact in your business. So the instruction is, what is a one action from these 5 in business that will give you 64% of the total income or impact? Write it down on another piece of paper. And instead of throwing away the other 4, keep it, the other 5, keep it somewhere for future. That's it. If you have written already, you need to catch up. Now go to the personal list of 5 things. What is the one thing that you need to be doing from that 25 that could create the biggest impact? I'm not saying that you shouldn't do the other things, but this is the one thing that needs to be done or start action on before you do anything else. We need to get momentum built on this one action. What is a one action? Maybe it is just simply going to your son and saying, I love you. It could be that. That might be the biggest thing. It doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. What matters is that you're taking action on the most important thing in your life that you believe in your personal life. Write down right now. Awesome. Now, those of you listening in the video, or when you are listening to this in the future, like when your business has grown to multiple 7 figures or multiple 8 figures, you have grown your business to a different level. Now, you might actually have more than 25 things. You might have hundreds of things that you might be doing. So at the time, or right now, when you're watching this, you have a big business, or you're listening to this right now, you have a big business, or medium-sized business, whatever size business you have. If you have hundreds of things that you have that you need to be doing, and you have a list of it, then you take one more level down, which is you go one more level down from that list of 100 things. There is one thing that could actually give you 50% of the results. So if you were to go one more level down, and feel free to do that, those who are listening live or listening to the video, feel free to go that one more level down in the future by writing the hundreds of things that you want to be doing, and from that figuring out that one thing that you want to focus on. With me? And it could happen on the other side too. We talked about the negative 10x model, where there could be one thing that you're doing that is taking away 10x energy and enthusiasm and passion from you, because you're focusing only on one area of this life. In our organization, 3 steps to doubling your productivity. The first step is capture. You did that already. Second step is clarify. You did that already as well, because from the 25, you clarified and found out the one thing that is most important for you. Yeah. And then complete, which is what we need to do. But I'm going to unwrap this idea one more time, from a different angle. What is capture? Capture is collecting all the things in your head. You're capturing from your head, you're capturing from other people. Capture could be an email that you're coming in, that is a text that is coming in, a messenger message that is coming in, right? That's what it is. That's capture. And I'm going to go through each of them, right? So when you do this, then you would be able to work on the purple stuff of your life. That's where you bring the highest impact. Your human species was, the human species in you was, sent here for. Like, you will be doing what you were sent here for. Okay, you did capture and clarify already for your 2 things, right? So now we get into the complete. And when I talk about complete, and I'm not a scientist, but I want to talk about circadian rhythm. So what is that? What that is that your body goes through different level of like ups and downs throughout the day. So which means you could research, just study this in detail, like Google it and understand it deeply. But the bottom line of what I'm saying here is your body has its own energy level. Different body has different styles. But the point is that there are, like, sometimes your temperature is at peak. Sometimes you have peak alertness. Sometimes you are at the deepest of the sleep, right? So sometimes you have less melatonin and more melatonin, right? So based on that, you can decide when to be sleeping, when to be working, when to be productive, and things like that. But the only thing that I'm going to be taking from that is every 45 minutes of working, take 15 minutes of break. It might sound like the most counter-instinctive thing in the world. Like, I spend 45 minutes and then I'm taking a break. Oh my gosh, I don't think I will get anything done. Believe me, if you spend 45 minutes and take 15 minutes break, oh my God. Like, even if laying down, or like do something relaxing, like, in my case, it could be something stupid. Like, I shouldn't say stupid, but the point is that, I even watch like Tom and Jerry. Like, this is weird stuff that I'm sharing with you. My daughter and my kids ask me, like, why do you like it so much? And I say that Jerry gets me all the time, right? Because it's like, you need to do a clean cut and get out of that working productivity mode. And then you come back again. Then you get into the deeper stuff and then get into that high productive mode, come out of it. Do it again, come out of it. Do it again, come out of it. That's how you get things done. So your body is naturally going through ups and downs. Like, you might be feeling tired sometimes in the morning itself, because the body is going through that cycle of ups and downs because of the circadian rhythm. Let me talk about micro breaks. Micro breaks that I talked about right now, like taking that 15 minutes breaks. Oh my gosh, there's nothing more powerful than taking that 15 minutes break. And those who are like really busy in your life, spending talking with clients, especially if you're using an online productivity, online tool to schedule appointment with you, put padding. There's something called padding. You could set 15 minutes time between your appointments. So what does that mean? It means you get 15 minutes break between appointments. Otherwise, what happens is you don't get a clean cut. You just go from one person's situation, one client that you're working with, and then all of a sudden you go into another thing. And if you're a coach or a consultant who are talking, some of you guys, I mean, you might be a coach or a consultant, then you're solving somebody's problem and immediately went into another problem and immediately went into another problem, then you don't feel alive anymore. That's why we need to have a clean cut, 15 minutes padding, take a nap, lay down, listen to music, walk around in the house, office, wherever you are. Micro breaks. Micro breaks are so powerful. So make sure that you get 15 minutes break throughout the day so that you could rejuvenate. Okay. Now, batching. So we kind of batched already. So batching is Thursday. I told you Thursday is my video day. So that is the day I record video. I don't pay attention to anything on that day. My job is to make sure that I record my videos. If I need to be doing a video for my brand, for my product, this is an innovation day for me. So that day, I don't focus on marketing. I don't focus on getting clients or customer satisfaction or anything like that. Everybody know that I'm not available on Thursday. So I'll be recording videos. I'll be listening to my own mentors. I'll be in my own masterminds. Sometimes I slack in terms of reading books. I have like so many resources that I need to be finishing, so many books that I need to be finishing. I want to be finishing. I work on only that on Thursday. So if you could find a day like that, where focus on that, do it. So look into that. Okay. So that is called, batching. Like, for example, Tuesdays are my main client day. So Tuesdays, most of the time I talk to clients. And if I'm not able to fill Tuesdays, not able to, manage all of them on Tuesdays, then I give Friday afternoon. That's it. Typically, those are the times, sometimes, Monday afternoon too. But those are the general times that people get to work with me, especially when I'm doing this live training. Another thing is called, this is the directly opposite of what I was saying. It's called conscious multitasking. Conscious multitasking is, a classic example is, 60 to 70% of the books that I read, I would say at least 60% of the books that I read were read while I was driving. So for example, I used to travel a lot for my work. And sometimes, there are situations when I was working and I had to drive like 1 hour, 20 minutes in the morning and the evening, figure out, like, get an Audible or, join masterclass or something where you get a lot of wisdom, like including this training. It can be is available on mobile phones. If you don't know, you could actually download the app and then listen to this training on your mobile. We have an app for this. So you just download the app, put that in, log in, and listen to that. So do conscious multitasking. If you're traveling for 1 hour, even if you're traveling for like 20 minutes, be careful with your driving, but use that time for learning about new things. That is a classic example of conscious multitasking. And women, because of the way your brains are wired, you have, generally speaking, you have more multitasking skill than men. So you actually would be able to multitask other time, not on flow time. Other times, there are multiple situations where your brain is capable of multitasking. But most of the men that I know are not capable of multitasking consciously. Right? So, but flow time is single tasking. Other times you could multitask a little bit, it's fine. But make sure that you put a clean cut after you finish things, right? Don't just run around doing stuff. But the flow time, if you could come to like 2 flow times with 90 minutes, you would be more productive than 95% of the people in this planet. And I don't put usually numbers like that because people are not doing anything right now. They just sit around, check Facebook, YouTube, and other stuff, and then the day is done. Now, as we get closer to finishing this, interruptions and interrupters. This is an interesting thing. Interruptions and interrupters. And the studio audience are saying unimportant things in the prime flow time, like checking emails, posting on Facebook, and answering questions on social media. Absolute no's. This is an interruption. This is a distraction. This is your mind saying, you know what, this is your shadow saying, Oh, your mind saying, oh, I want to focus on these tiny things. What if these clients don't, what if people don't become my clients because I didn't respond to them this morning? You don't need to respond to this morning. You could hire a person for $2 or $3, $5, legitimately paying them, ethically paying them enough money to manage this for you. Right? So interruptions are other people coming in and interrupting you. Distractions are something from inside, because we don't know what we need to be focused on. So your mind is like, oh, okay, let's go check Facebook, let's check email. You're looking for tasks to do because we don't know what we need to be doing. That's why we are doing it. So now, look into right now, let's do this implementation as we are getting closer to finishing this session. Find your 3 major interruptions and how to handle them. Find your 3 major interruptions. And as you're doing that, find your 3 major interrupters. The second one is not interruptions. Second one is interrupters. Who are the human beings who interrupt you the most? Some people said their kids are interrupting them. And how do you manage them? Design a system for that. How do you manage them? How do you set expectations? Mommy is going to play at 9 a.m. for 15 minutes, and then at noon for 2 hours probably. But you know what? One way you could love mommy and support mommy or daddy is by making sure that I get to work on my flow time, my single tasking from 9 to 11. Would you do that for me? You can watch TV or something at the time. I don't mind, but make sure that you don't scream at each other, stab each other or whatever you guys say. But you got the point. So we did the implementation. Now let's talk about 3-minute envision. It doesn't get better than this. So right after your power ceremony, right at the end of my power ceremony, what do I do daily is, what are the 3 highest dollar, highest impact activities that I could be doing today? 3 minutes reflection. What did I do great today? That's it. What did I do great today? But if you want to be an overachiever, you could ask, what can I improve tomorrow? But if you want to be a normal achiever, you could say, what did I do great today? And just for 3 minutes, feel it. Oh my gosh, I did okay today. But if you're an overachiever, what can I do better tomorrow? That's it. 1 minute, 30 seconds, another 1 minute, 30 seconds, you're done. So when do you want to schedule your reflection? And do it for daily, weekly, and quarterly. Don't spend more than 3 minutes on this, right? I mean, gosh only knows what happens if you do that and then you scale your business to 10 times and you become super rich and super happy and super impactful and super passionate and super proficient, and then people admire you and you become famous and you are like well known, and those are going to be big problems, right? So I don't want you to spend like way too much time on that. But even with 3 minutes, this could happen. All the things that I said could happen. Okay, so if you're watching this live, watching this as a video, spend 5 minutes and design and schedule your 3 minutes reflections right now. Why do I say reflections? The daily, the weekly, and the quarterly for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. So schedule them right now. Best practices. How to start and end your day. Start with envision and end with reflection. Yeah. If you want to make it better, you can. So that's your warm-up protocol for now. How do you warm up to your day? You could do power ceremony, as in you could do power moves, and you could do your soul breathing before you start working. That could be a warm-up, right? What is one action that I could take today? And what is one action today that could take you to your highest goal in life, right? So we covered that already, right? What are the client's projects that need speed and acceleration? So these are some questions. What will be the most important result for today? Some questions, right? What must be done today? Okay. And more best practices. Sleep as much as Jeff Bezos sleeps. And I promise you guys, and I told you, I'm being vulnerable and telling you I slept only 4 hours last night. But you know what? Tonight I'm going to be sleeping for like 10 hours. Or maybe right after this, like 2 more hours, I'll eat my lunch. And then maybe I'll sleep for 3 hours in the daytime. I don't follow, social rules. Like, I could go and sleep for 3 hours. Right, if I need it, like, so it doesn't matter. I mean, some of you cannot probably do it. Jeff Bezos sleeps 8 to 9 hours a day. You can at least try 8. And I commit to doing 7 for sure, right? And this is a guy who owns the biggest company in the world. And now you'll be like, oh, he has all people to do all the stuff. Not when he started, when he was delivering stuff from USPS. I don't know whether he was sleeping 8 hours at the time, but the idea is for you to sleep 8 hours right now. So when you become Jeff Bezos, or when you become like really big impactor in the world, you could still continue sleeping. Take a power nap in the daytime for more than 16 minutes and less than 30 minutes. Phenomenal. Like Da Vinci used to do this, and Da Vinci is considered to be the greatest genius of all time. At least that's who I consider as the greatest genius of all the time. And Einstein, I don't know Einstein slept or not, but Da Vinci used to do this, like 16 minutes, immediately you calm down. And if you sleep more than 30 minutes, then it becomes a night sleep. You might be tired when you wake up, right? So less than 30 minutes, more than 16 minutes, power nap, go take a nap, lay down. If you have a partner, cuddle with them, spend time with them. Like, Einstein 20 minutes daily. Okay, good. So Einstein is good too. So Einstein also did 20 minutes of sleeping. Yeah. So I never saw him sleep 20 minutes. So I just wanted to confirm all the time that I spend with him. Okay, no emails before noon. Anybody who's obsessed with emails, stop it right now. No emails before noon. And clarify the expectation with your team. If you have a team of people who are working with you, let them know, I will not be checking emails from noon until noon, right? And if you're checking at 7 a.m. right now, you could change it to 8. If you have a large team of people that you need to communicate, then change it to 9, change it to 10, change it to 11. World is not going to explode. It's going to be fine. You could change it to noon. If you don't have a large team of people, if you have less than 3 people who report you directly, then just freaking change it. And if you have clients who are contacting that needs like immediate access to you, give your cell phone number, ask them to text you, right? No emails before noon. No text or WhatsApp before power ceremony. I don't do that. You don't do that. No stories, no excuses, no peeking. Put that in airplane mode. It's difficult for me, so that's why I put it in airplane mode. Get rid of all Facebook, any social media alerts that you're getting, get rid of them. Get rid of them. There's no need for it. Yeah. And I told you, carve out floor times with yourself. Get a massage. Do something else for yourself. Watch a movie by yourself. Just play with yourself, right? Do whatever you need to be doing, right? Run around, dance naked or whatever you want to be doing. Like, whatever you want to be doing, just find time for yourself. Schedule time with marketing and innovation. This is really important. As we are about to conclude, schedule time with marketing and innovation as if they are real people. So imagine marketing is one of your business partner and innovation is one of your business partner, and you have this partner call with marketing and innovation on Fridays and Mondays. At that time, you think about how to market your product, how to innovate your product, how to make it better. Right? So we spend enormous time studying these things. That's why we are able to deliver it this way. We spend a lot of time innovating. Even when from the last event, we do events in different parts of the world, and right now online. And even when I'm doing online, I could just take that slide and just push it, and still people will say, "Oh my gosh, that was really good. It was awesome." But we still, every time we do something, we improve a little bit so that you get a better experience. And we try to customize it for online. We use more graphics and more pictures, more visual things while you are, because I'm not seeing you live, right? So I want to make sure that I give you the best experience there. Schedule that time. If somebody says, "Oh, I want to do this," and then look at the calendar and say, "Oh, I have a commitment there." You could sincerely say you have a commitment if you have a meeting with marketing. Yeah, you don't need to lie about it. Because if you schedule a time with marketing from 9 to 11, "Oh, I have an appointment at the time." So you could truthfully tell them, "I have an appointment." You don't need to tell them it's with marketing or innovation. You could blame it on the calendar, right? If you are afraid to say no. Return other people's monkeys. So other people's monkeys is like somebody is running by, like friend close by, walking by, all of a sudden they're asking, hey, can you hold this monkey for me? And then you're like, okay, sure. And then they run. Many people do give you tasks like that and run away. Return those monkeys back to them. If the monkey is owner is somebody, that person need to handle the monkey, right? Monkeys need to be returned. Don't handle other people's monkey. And schedule distractions. There are things. This is something that I suck at. Like, I schedule distractions and I'm not able to do distraction. Like I said, this is the original problem that I was talking about. Right? I schedule distractions, but I don't do stuff. Now I reached a point, I don't want to be doing distractions, right? So I slack on this. It's a good problem to have, sometimes not so good. But the point is schedule distraction. 3 to 3:30, I'll be working on distraction. So if there are other distractions coming in the morning, push them all to 3 to 3:30 and work on it at the time. Yeah. And finally, buy happiness with money. Find others who are passionate and proficient in what you are not good at, but you are not, and buy back your time. One more time. Find others who are passionate and proficient in what you are not, and buy back your time. And reinvest that time on micro vacations, small vacations. And it could be connecting with nature, right? So connecting with nature, because if you're able to go to a camp when this challenge is over, assuming that if you're listening to this post-corona issue, and if you're able to go out in nature and do something, if you're able to spend 24 hours in nature, immediately your body calms down. There are so many things that happens in your body when you're connected with nature, when you are not touching your phone, right? And reinvest that time in your family, on fun, celebrations. So buy happiness with money. If you have money, if you don't have money, then for now, temporarily, don't buy it like, on a credit card. But for right now, what you do is you just work on it, start making money. And once you have money, buy happiness with money. Get other people to work for you and work for you who could manage that, and then reinvest time with your family, with nature, with fun, celebration, and things like that. Yeah. So if you're listening to this on video, spend 5 minutes and find the best practices that you will be implementing starting today. Pause the video and find the best practices that you are going to implement starting today. Okay, and next session, we are going to talk about how to find your customer avatar and how to start gain significant clarity about who you are working with, who's your customer, and what are they about, what are their values, what are their shadows, what are their shadow values, what are the soul values, so that everything that we learned, we're going to learn about our customer now, so that we could impact them and start generating leads. That's what we are going to talk about on next session. In summary, we talked about impact, income, proficiency, and passion, right? And when you're able to be in that purple space or the green space, then you're creating a big impact. You're becoming a big influencer. We could start with the green and go inward towards the purple, right? And we talked about the 100x model. We talked about the 5x, 25x, and 100x model. But in the 100x model, is 1% of the things that you're doing creates 50% of the results. Actually, it's 0.5%. That's why it is 100x. Okay, and finally, that's when you become that purple impact that we are talking about. And you would also see that. Remember, the story was all scattered, the curse story, but the blessing story was a triangle, and that becomes a prism, a triangular prism, when you are taking action from that blessing stories. That's what this purple triangle represent. Thank you for playing, and this was a longer session. Thank you for playing on a Saturday. Those who are listening, those who are my studio audience, I look forward to hearing your questions on this topic and seeing you double, quadruple, 10 times grow your productivity and grow your business. And have an amazing day. That's it.